missed my sun rays, so let's continue. Anyway, day 12. Remember when I said that I don't actually watch my videos? So I changed that. I did watch the one where I talked about 3 things that changed my reality, right? And then I realized that the third point was not as fleshed out as I intended it to be, which is a disservice to have whoever is watching this right now, or whoever is watching that video right now. So this video will be dedicated to that. I've also employed the assistance of a third-party device so that I can stay on course and not take you to a roller coaster to nowhere. So I know thinking big sounds easy coming from me, someone who has already integrated that. I've already worked that muscle out for years. So thinking big is like natural to me now. Make no mistake, I used to think in scarcity. Remember, I told you, I was thinking as a plant, I wished for a small pot. And then I outgrew the pot. And this is why you need to think big. I wrote this, so let's see how it sounds when I read it. You need to think big because one day you will change, and what you wish for when you didn't think you deserved more will feel suffocatingly small. It's true. I'm not mad at myself for thinking that that's all we deserved before, because I was operating on survival mode. I was trying to survive and just get by. And then I just thought that having something that small to call my own would, make me feel better. I really thought that I was just meant for something simple in life. But whenever I try to fit myself into that idea of a small, simple life, it hurts. Like there is something more for me. And that's what I'm working towards. And that's how I changed. Another thing that I didn't even consider is that what if I didn't outgrow the pot? As a plant, what if I just became a different type of plant that didn't fit that pot? Consider that. Okay, but this is not about me, so let's back it up a little. Let's just say you're still in the beginning of your healing journey, right? And the neuroscience and psychology of it all sounds intimidating and just overwhelming that it might turn you off from continuing your journey. So let's meet you where you're at and start with something simple. Let's think first. What is big thinking for you? What is the first thing that comes into your mind when somebody tells you, think big? From what I know, a lot of people mistake thinking big as something that should be unrealistic, delusional, status, money, materials, wealth, career, ego. But thinking big is just having a mind that is full of open questions. It's just going from predicting out of fear into exploring and being curious of possibilities. Now, let's do something with what you already have right now. It doesn't cost anything. It's just what you already have within you. First, you need to observe your thoughts. You need to be able to catch yourself when you're thinking. Let's just say you saw... Okay, so the setting is a little bit different. Champ is right here with me. I've been doing this for about 12 to 13 days. My cycle is like, I film when the sun rays are up, and then I edit late at night. And I have been doing that for 12, 13 days. And then I usually finish editing around super late, like 11:30, and then I upload the video, and I have to go to sleep, and then I wake up at 4 to go to the gym, and I don't have enough sleep, and I get a headache, and I get so hungry because I haven't taken a nap. Okay, so I thought to myself, I cannot continue this cycle because it's not sustainable and efficient for me. I need to change something. So last night, instead of editing the video, I decided to go to sleep and just continue editing today, because first of all, I did show up. I did film a video yesterday. It's just the editing and uploading that I didn't do. So today is a double upload day. As soon as I went into continue editing, half of the footage that where I discussed the meat of the subject is gone. I must have accidentally deleted it. So I went to upload it again on CapCut. But it's not in my gallery. I went to the recently deleted folder. It's not there either. Because yes, I must have deleted it right after I deleted it from the gallery because I'm trying to save space. My 1 TB just literally told me the other day that I am running out of space, so I need to be efficient. So I have no time to figure out what happened to the other half of the footage, so I'm just gonna film it. The show must go on, even if my eyes are puffy from crying over Mocha. So let's continue. Dude, you're getting filmed, bro. Do you want people to see what you're doing? Okay, where was I? Let's say you are on a diet and then you saw a table of red velvet cupcakes with cream cheese frosting. And instead of just going on your way, you find yourself reaching to the table to get one cupcake. But you're on a no sugar diet. I'm not gonna specify, but let's just say you're on a no sugar diet, okay? And then you catch yourself reaching for it because in your mind you've already been conditioned that you will probably fail. Your mind released a statement saying, I'm gonna fail my diet anyway, so I'm just gonna eat this cupcake today. Pause. The thing about small thinking is it's always accompanied by or a series of final answers, like closing statements with certainty that it's going to happen. I will do my best not to bring in psychology in here, but I just can't turn it off. So I'll stay on course. Okay, now, if small thinking is all about certainty, closing statements that feel so final, or thinking that you already have the final answer, that you are so sure of your prediction leaning towards the negative that it's going to happen. The opposite is probably entertaining possibilities, welcoming the unknown, being open to curiosity. Okay, so following that logic, how do we switch and make a small shift from I'm gonna fail anyway to train yourself into thinking big? So let's dissect the sentence. I'm is an identity anchor. It means that it is a belief you have about yourself that you have already accepted, or you are conditioned to accept, and you've always operated every day of your life making decisions based on the identity that you believe you have. If that identity is anchored in fear, then it only makes sense that the following decisions you will make out of fear will be laced with desperation and scarcity. Because sometimes when you have grown up in an environment, or a belief was instilled in you that is created out of fear and smallness, then the first thing that you would do is protect your ego from being hurt or disappointed. So in order for you to not be disappointed, you have to make predictions out of fear, as if you already know that it's certainly gonna happen. Because then if you think to yourself, oh, it's not gonna work anyway, so might as well not do anything, therefore I haven't failed at all. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy then, because if it does fail, then you're just like, I was right. Your entire body gains pleasure and or safety from knowing that you were right about failing. Now, how do we reverse that? Going back, let's take not a few steps. Let's take a lot of steps back, right? So you just said I'm because of identity. Let's replace that identity anchor with just a self-referential tag saying that it's all about you, and that is I. And since we addressed the identity anchor, let's move on to the next part of the sentence, which is going to or gonna. Going to or gonna is a language that you use to commit to a future. Since the next word after gonna or going to is fail, you're basically telling yourself that you believe you are committed to failing, and then end it with the word anyway, which is the language of certainty in resignation. It's like you're saying to the universe, to yourself, to your mind, to your body, your soul, your higher self, your inner child, everyone, that you are so certain that you're going to fail. You're just going to go with the flow, and you're just going to let the chips fall where they may. That is such a passive language, and you're leaving so much up to failure and fear. It's like your power is vacuumed out of you by fear, that you're just gonna let it take control and then make you believe that you are never gonna succeed. Okay, so how do we flip that? We don't replace certainty with another certainty. We counter certainty with openness. Because at the end of the day, what do we know? So we have to be open with the possibilities. In order for you to open yourself to the possibility, you have to change your language around it. So instead of declaring with so much certainty that you are going to fail, let's flip it. Okay, if the sentence was I'm going to fail anyway, we remove the passive language of resignation, drop the anyway, replace the identity anchor I'm with I, replace the committed future language of going to or gonna with something more declarative, which is will, and then flip fail into something positive, which is its opposite, succeed. Now we have to add three more things. 2 words, what if, into the front, and then a question mark at the end. So now the sentence goes from I'm going to fail anyway, or I'm gonna fail anyway, into what if I will succeed. Before you were so closed and now you're open. Before you had negative certainty, now you have positive possibility. Move from it's over into it might not be. That's just how big thinking is. You just have to understand that you don't have all the answers. You cannot be certain of what you do not know. That's why if you are not sure of what you do not know, why choose to be certain of negativity when you could just be open to possibility? So what is the cure to small thinking? Come an explorer. Be curious. Be open to possibility. And what are the possibilities? Start allowing the idea that good things are possible, and you start acting differently. You start speaking up, you start showing up, you start asking for more. That alone changes outcomes. If you want to think big, you also have to be open to the possibility that you are capable of speaking about what you want instead of what you fear. Because if you keep thinking about the things that you fear on repeat, then that becomes your focus. Let's just say you keep saying you don't want more debt. You stay mentally stuck in debt. But then if you say, I want more income, your mind starts looking for income. Because where your focus goes, your effort flows. And it is also very possible for things to improve. So you need to start expecting that. Because when you expect improvement, you become open, you stay open. If you continue to commit yourself into thinking that bad things only happen to you, that closes doors of opportunities early. So be one of the people who believe that it's possible for good things to come your way, because then it keeps the doors open longer. When doors are kept open, it increases your chances of attracting things that you need in life. Try to retire the belief that when you're thinking big, it means that you're going to attract big right away, because that will only turn you off from doing that. Your mind immediately goes, nah, that's probably not gonna happen, even if you don't do that on purpose. It's just that when you think big and become open to possibility, it moves you from being in the frequency or thinking that nothing ever works for you. And then you start to think that maybe something could. So that small shift is like a crack in the wall. You can start seeing small wins. And naturally, when you see a win, you want to learn more. Observing your thoughts is taking back control. Language is rehearsal for the future you're preparing for. And belief is the boundary of your results. Every sentence you repeat is a practice for the future you expect. When you say you're going to fail, you're practicing defeat before the moment arrives. When you say, what if I succeed, you're practicing possibility. Thinking big doesn't start with guaranteed results. It starts with refusing to pre-decide failure. You don't need certainty for winning. You just need to stop being certain of losing. And that's how you grow. And that's how expansion begins. So I hope that this was helpful and it wasn't too much. I'll see you again on day 13 and 14.